city of Watertown is battling through heartache. Tonight, a vigil for 3 students killed in a house fire.
Plus, need a doctor's note, navigating a post-pandemic gray area when it comes to excused absences from work. Tonight, what you need to know. And
the city of Madison set to adopt a new planning policy for new streets. Oh, it could be safer for everyone who uses roads in our communities. It's all ahead. On News 3 Now at 10. Tonight, the community of Watertown, Wisconsin came out in numbers to mourn the 3 young victims who died in a house fire last week.
The Watertown Unified School District Superintendent confirming today the 3 victims were students in the district. Armand Rahman was at the vigil tonight and has more. Armand?
The Watertown School District says they held a grief session for students, staff, and families yesterday. But what was clear tonight was that the community also needed time to process and that it's been a tough few days for the city of Watertown. The vigil attracted a crowd of well over 100 people of all ages, many with balloons. Later on in the night, rally and performance car drivers from the area revved their engines and lit up the street because attendees told me the kids loved fast cars and burnouts. We stayed far across the street and didn't film much of the vigil to respect the family's wishes. But while the community came together to share the grief that's been building the last 3 days, a memorial to the victims has also grown. Right up until the vigil started, people young and old were stopping by, decorating the charred scene with bright flowers, stuffed animals, balloons, cards, and more, showing how many people in the city are feeling this loss. And I did ask roughly a dozen people if they wish to share any thoughts or condolences on camera. Many of them declined at the request of the family. Tomorrow we'll hear more in an interview with the superintendent of the Watertown School District.
Thank you, Armand. If you would like to help the family, a GoFundMe has been set up. And they are looking for a goal of $25,000. And we have a link to that on our website, channel3000.com.
Let's get a look at our certified most accurate forecast now. Here's Julian Seawright.
Well, the quiet and cloudy trend continues as we head into our Monday night, but we are looking for those changes to finally arrive once we get into our Tuesday evening. But let's go ahead and walk through the rest of the overnight hours. Temperatures are going to be steady into the middle 30s, falling just slightly to the lower 30s once we get closer to the morning hours. But the cloud cover is going to be going nowhere, and we will start to see a pickup in terms of that wind once we get into our Tuesday morning. Now, outside of it, it is quiet here for now, but what we are watching is what is highlighting all these weather alerts as of right now. We're looking at winter weather bulletins that stretch from northern Wisconsin to our friends far into the Great Plains who are under a blizzard warning and watch, and many of us are looking at winter weather advisories and winter storm watches as well. And there's even an ice storm warning that we're going to be watching for from this system in itself that's going to be developing and moving its way into the southern Wisconsin. But for our area, we're not looking for any of those. We're just going to be looking at rain to be the main event, especially once we get into our Tuesday. Tonight, temperatures will be around 33 degrees for Madison, Janesville, and for Platteville, but we will start to see a bit of some snow later into this week. We'll talk about this storm system and when you can expect the impacts in a few moments. Until then, back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. We are following a developing story tonight. The man at the center of the collapse of cryptocurrency exchange FTX has been arrested. The Attorney General in the Bahamas says former CEO Sam Bankman-Fried is in custody at the request of the U.S. based on a sealed indictment. The Southern District of New York has been investigating Bankman-Fried since FTX's collapse last month. It was one of the biggest crypto exchanges in the world until the company couldn't cover the sudden wave of customer withdrawals. Well, it has taken 34 years, but the man who allegedly built the bomb that took down Pan Am Flight 103 over Lockerbie, Scotland, back in 1988, is finally in a U.S. court to stand trial. Abu Aguila Mohammed Massoud is facing 3 counts related to the bombing, each of which carries a maximum sentence of life in prison or death, although the government says it will not seek the death penalty since that wasn't legal at the time of the bombing. 270 people were killed in the attack.
More local news now. Several local health care providers today collectively saying their clinics are seeing more patients with flu and COVID symptoms lately, causing long wait times. They say people experiencing mild to moderate symptoms of respiratory illnesses who are in otherwise good health should stay home or seek virtual care options. Today's announcement could leave some employees in a tough spot.
At the height of the pandemic, employers had more options for giving out sick time, but as the pandemic slows down, they're left in a bit of a gray area. Braden Ross explains.
We are really getting overrun.
Today, an unusual message from Madison area hospitals asking some people not to come. In a joint statement, 5 Madison area health systems said wait times in emergency rooms and urgent cares are skyrocketing thanks to rising numbers of the flu, COVID, and RSV.
Everybody's getting, overwhelmed with these upper respiratory infections and asking people to use some maybe different thought processes on how they seek care.
They're asking people to monitor and treat their symptoms at home if they can, but this new guidance may have some employees wondering how they can prove they're sick to take time off.
Any employer who's requiring an employee to provide a doctor's note really should take stock of just how strained those resources are now.
Employment attorney Colin Good says during the peak of the pandemic, employers had more options.
What changed, though, with the pandemic is that employers had a lot more tools at their disposal when employees were off work.
Under COVID policies, employees had more leeway to stay home when they were sick, but now
we're kind of in a hybrid space, right? The pandemic is still going on.
Good says employees should know what their employer requires and also what the law says. Dr. David Ottenbaker with SSM Health says those who need doctor's notes can also use telehealth options to avoid wait times.
If people want to be seen or if it's something as an employee kind of where they have to get a note, we have that SSM Express Virtual Care, which is, again, a nice alternative where they don't have to be seen in person.
If you're high risk, healthcare providers say you should still seek care in person. And if you're worried about work, check your rights under the Family Medical Leave Act and the Wisconsin Fair Employment Law.
Braden, thank you. The FBI has released hate crime statistics for the past year. And according to these new stats, nearly 9,000 people were victims of an alleged hate crime in 2021. However, that number is likely much higher in reality because 35% of law enforcement agencies failed to report. Last year was the first time hate crimes were reported entirely through the federal National Incident-Based Reporting System, and the FBI says the number of law enforcement agencies reporting hate crimes data has decreased dramatically since that transition. In Richmond, Virginia today, crews took down the city's last remaining Confederate statue. The monument honored Confederate General A.P. Hill. It was erected back in 1891. Hill's family said the statue was a grave marker and therefore personal property. However, a judge ruled city leaders should decide where that statue will be transferred.
In Philadelphia, crews removed the box surrounding the Christopher Columbus statue in the Marconi Plaza. The box was surrounded the statue for 2 years. A judge ruled it needed to be removed on Friday. The legal fight over the statue began with the mayor's decision to take it down in the summer of 2020 amid the George Floyd protests that erupted in cities all across the country. Alabama is now the latest Republican-run state banning TikTok from state-owned electronic devices and networks. Governor Kay Ivey announced the ban in a memo today. Ivey says the Chinese-owned app poses privacy risks by allowing China access to user data collected by TikTok. Alabama isn't alone in this. Governors in Utah, South Dakota, Maryland, and Texas have passed similar bans. As for Wisconsin, Republican representatives in Congress last week called on Governor Tony Evers to also ban the app from state devices. To read more about that, just head to channel3000.com.
Former President Trump is planning to release a book next year showcasing his private correspondence with celebrities and international icons. Sources say it'll be similar to Trump's first post-White House book. That was a collection of 300-plus photographs from his time in office with captions he wrote himself. The book of letters will have reproductions of letters written to or by Trump over the last few decades. Next at 10, you are looking at new satellite images of the aftermath of the Keystone Pipeline oil spill in Kansas. The pipeline, a 2,700-mile system that delivers Canadian and U.S. oil to major refineries all across America. Now, the company still doesn't know what caused the leak of at least 14,000 barrels of oil into a creek near the border of Kansas and Nebraska. According to Bloomberg, it is the biggest oil pipeline leak in the United States since 2010.
Around Wisconsin, police are asking for help after a bald eagle was shot in Milwaukee County. The adult male bird was found unable to fly last Wednesday on private property in Franklin and is now in the care of Wisconsin Humane Society Wildlife Rehabilitation Center. Eagles and their nests are federally protected. Next tonight, the DOT says the number of drivers using the Beltline is going up, but commute times are down. They credit the new flex lane for this. Early data from this October shows Beltline drivers are spending 60% less time commuting. The DOT also reported for the section of the Beltline with the flex lanes, there were fewer crashes. Fewer crashes on all Madison streets is just one of the many goals of the city's new Complete Green Streets Guide, which the Plan Commission unanimously approved tonight.
McKenna Alexander explains what this guide entails and what it means for the future of Madison transit.
So hopefully that this will be a policy document that kind of fundamentally changes the way we approach the way we reconstruct streets.
Monday night, the Madison Plan Commission met to approve a Complete Green Streets policy, which is essentially a formatting guideline for the city's future road designs. Those policies essentially shift priorities for infrastructure to be more inclusive for all travelers, not just those with a car.
What the Complete Green Streets does is it kind of it moves away from these arterial collector classifications into not how many cars can we move, but how many people can we move, and how are the different ways we can move them.
One of the ways to move toward inclusive street design is prioritizing safety for pedestrians during the construction and design process, so that roads are built right the first time, not after multiple concerned citizen reports. The other part of this plan is to shift median landscape design to a medium or high priority, pushing developers to consider foliage when designing roads.
So over time, we've kind of moved from this narrow street that you're probably all familiar with in our older neighborhoods to these much wider streets that provide a lot more pavement, have a lot of focus on people in automobiles, the storage of automobiles. Even though we're a city that really is known for complete streets and being bike and pedestrian friendly, this has still happened here in Madison.
While the Complete Green Street policy outlines priorities and goals, there's no one design of a complete street. Each street design will be different in that it'll consider the specific context of the community, neighborhood, and street, but all fall under one canopy plan of safety, equity, and reliability when traveling around the city we all love. To see the full Green Streets Guide, just visit our website at channel3000.com.
All right, McKenna, thank you. And still to come tonight, AAA out with its annual holiday travel forecast.
Plus, the city of Green Bay getting a little creative with a new riverfront sculpture. We'll check it out when we come back.
With Pick and Save delivery, it's easy to get your special holiday foods brought right to your door. And that's music to your ears. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
They're here. Okay. There's no way we're paying for all those medical bills.
Should we talk about a settlement?
How about we cut the car payments down?
We might want to think about this.
Look, just get them to sign. This offer's more than fair.
Sir, it's the law offices of Hupy and Abraham.
Tell them you mean business. Call 800-800-5678. Hupy and Abraham.
You can handle this one.
This holiday season at the Century House. Give $50 or more to charity and get $200 off any stressless recliner with power, any stressless recliner and ottoman, or any stressless office chair. Or get $200 off each stressless sofa seat or $400 off all stressless Mayfair recliners and ottomans in all Paloma leather colors. Shop the Century House, 3420 University Avenue in Madison.
Ready, Dad?
All charged up.
This holiday season, Ford wants to help you shine bright with a special offer. Now choose from a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. Or place a custom order on select Ford vehicles. Lock in your rate and you're protected.
I'm proud of you, kid.
And that's how Ford is helping you shine bright. Now get an F-150 with 2.9% financing for 60 months and $500 retail bonus cash plus $500 accessories cash.
Many of us are feeling the economic crunch, and News 3 Now wants to help those who are in need this holiday season. News 3 Now and SSM Health presents the 12 Days of Giving.
Through the tremendous generosity of area businesses and volunteers, we want to make 12 wishes come true. If you're in need or know someone who is or may want to help make a wish come true, go to channel3000.com and fill out the application.
News 3 Now's 12 Days of Giving, presented by SSM Health.
Keep your holidays in sync with free pickup on all your fresh favorites from Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
What a gift it is to have Regina Hall in my house.
You just had a birthday. They just keep coming. Guess I'm happy I'm not dead.
And singer-songwriter Russell Dickerson.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Taylor Swift is releasing additional tickets to her Eras tour after last month's ticketing debacle. Some of her fans were locked out when sales started. Ticketmaster apologized, saying the demand, along with elevated number of bot attacks, drove unprecedented traffic to the site and essentially broke it. Well, Twitter is cleaning out its closet and metaphorically holding a yard sale. The social media giant is auctioning off dozens of items from its headquarters office in San Francisco. Among the memorabilia up for grabs, a large statue of the Twitter bird and a giant sculpture planter in the shape of an @ symbol. The auction kicks off January 17th and ends the following day.
Subaru is recalling more than 271,000 SUVs because some of them could catch fire. The company advising owners of some of the 2019 to 22 model year Subaru Ascent vehicles to park them outside away from garages or other structures, not to leave the vehicles unattended with the engine running. An electrical compound in the cabin heating system, they say, may have been improperly fastened, and that could lead to those fires. Well, check this out. Nuclear fusion has been called the holy grail of clean energy, and now scientists just made a big breakthrough. The U.S. Department of Energy reportedly set to announce that scientists have produced the first ever nuclear fusion reaction, resulting in a net energy gain. That means the reaction creates more energy than it uses. The implication is a potentially infinite source of clean energy that could help stop dependence on fossil fuels. The Energy Department is expected to make the official announcement tomorrow. The city of Green Bay unveiling a very cheesy sculpture along the downtown riverfront. Today it reads, I Heart GB, in green and gold, of course, with a heart of cheese. Located on the City Deck Boardwalk along the Fox River, the steel sculpture, nearly 10 feet tall, weighs about 1,200 pounds. The goal is to promote the city with visitors taking photos with that sculpture and riverfront backdrop and posting them on social media.
AAA today out with its annual holiday travel forecast. The organization says it expects more than 2.2 million Wisconsinites to travel 50 miles or more for the holidays between December 23rd and January 2nd. The projection expects this holiday season to be the third busiest on record in the state. The vast majority, 2.07 million, are expected to drive. And for the millions of Americans taking to the skies, snow in the forecast could make all the difference. Experts say a little preparation can go a long way, such as downloading the airline's app and following them on social media to get the latest updates on any delays or cancellations. Avoid potential problems by booking direct flights. Plan a hotel stay. If you get stranded, keep a flexible itinerary. And if your plans do go awry, be your own best advocate.
If your flight gets canceled, you really want to be the first one who gets a hold of customer service to get rebooked on one of those few seats that are still available.
And to avoid additional angst at the airport, be sure to arrive early, avoid checking your bags if you can, and take advantage of programs like TSA PreCheck or Clear to get through security with a little less stress.
We've got a lot of things going on coast to coast, really, in weather across the country. Around here, though, Julian Seawright has more on that.
Well, around here, it's quiet for now. That's going to be the key word for us as we get in throughout the rest of our Monday nights, transitioning into our Tuesday morning. It's going to be quiet, but what we're watching for is what's developing from, as Eric said, coast to coast, because on the western side of things, from the Great Plains into the upper Midwest, just parts of the northern sector of Minnesota as well, we're looking at blizzard warnings, winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories, and even an ice storm warning that is into the far southeastern side, or southwestern side, excuse me, of Minnesota, that's going to really start to go in effect because of the system that's already been bringing in snow from Wyoming into parts of Colorado in itself. And rain and storms are starting to develop along parts of the Great Plains as the system continues to move itself about east. And behind it, we're looking at windy conditions, and we're going to have an abundance of moisture that's going to be plaguing us with plenty of rainfall by the time we get into our Tuesday night. Tuesday morning, however, is going to be quiet. We're looking at breezy conditions to really be the headline for our morning hours, and it's going to be cloudy like it has been over the last 5 days. But as we go into about our Tuesday afternoon, the wind speeds will start to pick back up. And we'll start to see that development of rain, mainly going to be into the southwestern corridor of southern Wisconsin. So Prairie du Chien, Platteville, this is where we're going to start to pay attention to around the 5 o'clock hour of rain starting to develop for us in areas just to the northeast of Viroqua. Going to be looking at a bit of that colder sector, seeing a bit of that wintry mix coming into our Tuesday evening. Tuesday nights is when we're going to start to see it become more widespread and impact majority of Dane County and areas to the east. And then we're going to be seeing those bands of rain really just continue to train throughout the overnight hours into our Wednesday morning. Wintry mix and any snowfall is mainly going to be far north and to the northeast where it's colder weather, but we're going to be seeing those temperatures stay rather warm, and so we're going to be well above freezing. So we're not going to see much in terms of snow just yet. Heading into our Wednesday afternoon, we have a resurgence of more bands of rainfall that's going to collect itself once again as we get into our Wednesday afternoon and Wednesday nights. But overnight for Wednesdays, when we're going to start to see that transition for that rain into snow, and then we're going to be looking at that snow to stick around for us throughout our Thursday. Going to be tapering on and off, but then as we get into our Friday, could start to see a bit some light snow showers and even some lingering flurries by the time this event completely clears itself out going into our Friday afternoon. In terms of rainfall, that's going to be the biggest headline for us. We're looking at some significant rain impacts throughout southern Wisconsin. Many areas around Dane County, 1.5 to 2 inches, or even just mainly 1 inch. But areas to the southwest are looking about 1 inch, closer to 1.5 inches in terms of rain. But for snow, it's really going to be trace amounts. Some areas to the far northeast are going to be looking at 2 to 4. But us here in Madison, we're looking to barely cross the 1 inch threshold. Not going to be looking at this to be much of a snow event. But rain is going to start once we get into our Tuesday evening. So make sure you have your rain gear for Wednesday and Thursday. But on top of it, make sure that you have your snow gear ready to go as well. So we're going to be looking at some snow that will start to impact us once we get into our Thursday and heading into our Friday morning. Going into the weekend, we have opportunities for some flurries, but the cold is going to return as we'll see the teens and single digits heading into the overnight going into next week.
And coming up in sports, Cuba City and Belleville took to the hardwood for a huge non-conference tilt. How the Cubans rallied for the win next on News 3 Now.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Ready, Dad?
All charged up.
This holiday season, Ford wants to help you shine bright with a special offer. Now choose from a great selection of new Ford vehicles in stock and ready for delivery. Or place a custom order on select Ford vehicles, lock in your rate, and you're protected.
I'm proud of you, kid.
And that's how Ford is helping you shine bright. This season, choose FlexBuy on a 2022 Ford Escape or Edge and get 0% APR financing for 66 months.
Look! It's easy to say things. Anyone can do that.
Look closer.
Meaning what you say, that's a little harder. And a little harder to find. But at US Cellular, when we say you get unlimited data for $29.99 per line, we don't mean only if you get 4 lines. We mean $29.99 per line, even 1. Plus, every plan is price protected for every customer.
Energy is everywhere, even in a little seedling, which, when turned into fuel, can help power a plane. At Chevron's El Segundo refinery, we're looking to turn plant-based oil into renewable gasoline, jet, and diesel fuels. Our planet offers countless sources of energy, but it's only human to find the ones that could power a better future.
Waiting sometimes is just inevitable. But if you're over 50 or live with a chronic condition, waiting could be deadly, because conditions like heart disease or diabetes raise your risk of serious illness or death from untreated COVID. And if you don't get treatment within days, you may not be able to get treatment. So, got COVID symptoms? Get tested and get treated right away. It can't wait.
non-attorney spokesperson. This is a paid advertisement for legal services sponsored by Nightline Legal. Cases assigned on a random basis to participating law firms. If you or a loved one were stationed at Marine Corps Base Camp Lejeune between 1953 and 1987 and were later diagnosed with cancer, Parkinson's disease, or other serious health effects, call right now. You may be entitled to financial compensation. Call right now to find out if you qualify.
Call 1-800-336-0524. 1-800-336-0524.
What's the matter, hon?
There's nothing to do.
You should check out Ho Chunk Gaming Madison, home with a 95% average payout.
And with so many slot machines, there's a game for every kind of player.
They're right, honey. And with new promotions and reward club perks all the time, there are more ways to win than ever before.
Find your fun and visit Ho Chunk Gaming Madison today.
Ho Chunk Gaming Madison.
Now, what is happening?
For the first time this season, the Badger men's basketball team cracked the top 25. Wisconsin makes their season debut in the polls at number 22, fresh off a week where they beat Iowa in overtime on the road and handed 13th-ranked Maryland its first loss of the year. UW's off till Thursday when Lehigh comes to the Kohl Center. High school boys hoops, Cuba City hosting Belleville in a big non-conference clash. First half, Cubans on the attack. Reese Rosenkrantz takes it to the cup for 2 of his 16. Cuba City led by 5 at the break. Belleville would battle back in the second half. Andrew Ace dials one up from deep to give the Wildcats the lead. Ace finished with a game-high 24 points, but that lead would not hold. Max Lucy stops and pops for 2. Team-high 21 from him as Cuba City rallies for the win. 78-72 is your final. It's been a busy couple of weeks for Luke Fickell since he took over the Wisconsin football program. Bowl prep, create his coaching staff, figure out what players are staying, and then hit the recruiting trail. The latter paid off today. Fickell received his first 2 commitments at Wisconsin, 3-star cornerback Jonas DeClona and 4-star safety Braylon Moore. Both were players originally were committed to Cincinnati. 24/7 Sports has Moore ranked number 15th athlete in the nation, while DeClona will play in the high school football All-American Bowl in January. Other news from the camp, the days after the AP named Nick Herbig first team All-Big Ten, they tabbed the Badger outside linebacker a 3rd-team All-American. Herbig led the conference in sacks and tackles for loss this season, and over the weekend, he declared for the NFL draft. What a season it was for Wisconsin volleyball. The reigning national champs had a bullseye on their back all year long and still dominated. Badgers won their 4th straight Big Ten championship, advanced to the Sweet 16 for the 10th straight season, and were 1 win away from the program's 4th consecutive trip to the Final Four. To use Daniel Hart's word, they were magical, and she has no doubt that they'll be back on top.
But what I told them is that this program will win another one. It's multiple. It's that Wisconsin volleyball has, year after year, continues to just create magic. The way we go about things, the culture, the people, it's just magical. Every season's magical. And we'll continue to do special things.
We're back after this.
What you see is important. How you see is important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Right now, get 40% off lenses with the purchase of any frames. Shopko Optical.
Let Menards help you update your home with high-quality and unique sliding barn doors from Colonial Elegance. Give your home an updated look with doors for any room in the house. Save big money on sliding barn doors. Choose from our in-stock selection of Mastercraft doors or design your door your way with our door designer. Mastercraft has the fastest delivery, so you get your door in approximately 7 days. Save big money on Mastercraft doors.
All the season's greetings to you all from Menards.
Planning a remodel? Don't toss your cabinets, furniture, and appliances. Donate to Habitat Restore. Your items stay out of landfills while proceeds create housing solutions for hardworking families. Build a stronger community with Habitat Restore of Dane County.
At Chevy, the holidays mean going places and doing things you love to do with friends and family. Visit your local Chevy dealer, and when you find your red tag, you find your deal. Then make the most of your time with the people who matter most. Find new moments, find new roads. Find your red tag and get $1,500 total cash allowance on all 2022 Silverado pickups with a 2.7-liter turbo engine. Plus, current Chevy owners get an additional $2,500 cash allowance. Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in Wisconsin.
At Overture Center, February 21st through 26th. Get your tickets today at overture.org.
Need life insurance? Select Quote found Jacob, 40, a $500,000 policy for only $19 a month. And Select Quote found his wife Wendy, a $500,000 policy for only $17 a month.
Our secret? At Select Quote, we aggressively comparison shop up to 10 highly rated companies to find you the company with the best rates. Why pay more? Give your family the security they need at a price you can afford. Select Quote. We shop, you save.
News 3 Now is always on.
Download the Channel 3000 app and you'll have access to the News 3 Now newsroom in the palm of your hand.
The Channel 3000 app. Get it now.
Powered by News 3 Now.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
This portion of News 3 Now sponsored by RG Heating and Air Conditioning. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
And we go back to Julian, one final check of the forecast.
Well, things are going to get a little messy, but it's going to take a while to get there. So our Tuesday morning and afternoon will be fine, but around the 5 p.m. commute, so we're going to start to see the developments of rain that's going to stick around for us until we get into Thursday, where it's going to start to transition a bit into some snow, which will linger into our Friday morning. Then we're looking at light snow flurries throughout parts of this weekend, but the cold is what we're really going to be watching for once this event is over with.
All right, Julian, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.